About 8 days later, Jesus took Peter, James, and John up on a mountain to be alone and pray. As he was sending his voice to the Great Spirit, the appearance of his face began to change, and his clothes turned white as snow. 2 men appeared and began to talk with him. One was the prophet of old, Elijah, and the other the ancient lawgiver, Moses. They were shining like the sun and were talking to him about his crossing over from this life to the next, which would take place in Jerusalem. Peter and the others were deep asleep, but they woke up and shook the sleep from their eyes. They saw Jesus with his face and clothes shining. They also saw the 2 ancestors standing with him. As they turned to go, Peter spoke without thinking. "Wisdom keeper," he shouted, "this is a good place to stay. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." While he was saying this, a bright cloud from above began to fall on them. Their knees shook as the clouds surrounded them. A voice spoke from the cloud saying, "This is my begotten, the one I have chosen. Listen to him." When the voice finished speaking, they saw Jesus standing there alone in front of them. After this, they kept silent and told no one at that time what they had seen. Holy wisdom, holy word. Thanks be to God.
The beauty that emerges from woundedness is a beauty infused with feeling, a beauty different from the beauty of landscape and the cold, perfect form. This is a beauty that has suffered its way through the ache of desolation until the words or music emerged to equal the hunger and desperation at its heart. It must also be said that not all woundedness succeeds in finding its way through to the beauty of form. Most woundedness remains hidden, lost inside forgotten silence. Indeed, in every life, there is some wound that continues to weep secretly, even after years of attempted healing. Where woundedness can be refined into beauty, a wonderful transfiguration takes place. Those are from the spiritual writer John O'Donohue. So I know that confession is a Catholic thing, but I'm Catholic, so you're going to be my confessors for a moment, okay? And since it's going out on live streaming, it's not a secret or anything. But when I was wrestling with this gospel story of the Transfiguration and these words from John O'Donohue, I didn't want to share this story with you, but I couldn't get past it, so I thought, all right, I guess I'm being invited to share with you all the worst thing I've ever done. When I was 12 years old, I was in a summer program, and one day we all went to the park. And there was a gentleman there, probably in his 20s, 30s, who now, looking back, I would say probably had cerebral palsy, who was minding his own business, and a group of us went over to him, circled around him, and made fun of him. Called him names, laughed at him, imitated him. Now, of course, our counselor came and took us away and scolded us, rightly so. I don't remember anything she said to us, but I do remember the look on his face as he walked away with his caregiver to this day. And I could see, even, I was 12, I could see how deeply we had hurt him, how deeply I had hurt him. And I remember in that moment, amidst the shame, amidst the sadness, the regret, I made a promise to myself that I would never do that again. I would always spend my life trying to be kind, trying to uplift people. I would never hurt someone like that again. And that's a good promise to make to yourself. But what I didn't realize at the time, and it took until I was 35 to realize, was that how I saw myself after that changed. And the way I saw myself was that I was a monster. And I was a monster who did not deserve the kindness of other people. So when people would come and try to be close to me, I kept them back. When people would try to share their love and friendship with me, I held it back. When people saw goodness in me and complimented me or told me whatever, good, nice words, I rejected it. Because they didn't know the truth. If they knew who I really was, they wouldn't say these nice things. And it went from the age of 12 to 35. And when I finally unmasked that wound, when I finally did the deep inner work with my therapist and with my spiritual director and with friends and family to break open that box and bring it forward, it was only then that I could really start the healing process and really get to that place of holding both realities. This horrible thing that I did, and the fact that I am so much more than that horrible thing. And I think that's what the Transfiguration is about. Thich Nhat Hanh says life is beautiful and dreadful. And I think the Transfiguration invites us to hold those two realities together. The beauty of life, the dreadfulness of life. And that one should not overwhelm the other. One should not define the other. They simply, as Thich Nhat Hanh would say, inter-are. Just as in Jesus, humanity and divine inter-are. And just as Jesus shows us, that interbeing is true in us too. Lent is upon us, and the word Lent comes from the word lengthen, which means lengthening. And it comes from the lengthening of daylight, at least in the northern hemisphere. The days are getting longer. And as daylight lengthens, it invites new life, right? The trees start to bud, the snow and the cold starts to recede a little bit. I'm still getting used to Seattle and how it is always cold here. The grass starts to grow, the plants start to push their way up through the soil. The lengthening of light invites new life to grow. I don't know in the UCC tradition, but in the Catholic tradition, Lent was not about light and new life. It was about how horrible we were, and we had to atone for all the terrible things we had done in the last year. And we atoned by giving up things. Now, fasting, the idea of fasting was originally to let go of luxury. So, for example, the idea of not eating meat on Fridays. Well, meat at one time was expensive. It was a luxury. Fish was cheap. So don't worry about the luxuries. Be simple. So I used to tell the people in other parishes I served, going to the all-you-can-eat lobster buffet on the Fridays of Lent, yes, it is in keeping with the letter of the law, but the spirit of simplicity kind of lost there. Or all the little customs that we would make to get around our giving up things. Like, one year I gave up chocolate. But all the best chocolate comes out at Easter. And one of my favorites is the Cadbury cream eggs. So one year I found a way around my Lenten sacrifice. I would cut the eggs open and I would just eat the inside, because the inside wasn't chocolate. So therefore I wasn't breaking my fast, but I was still getting to enjoy it. And I would always make sure, though, as I got to the bottom, that I wasn't accidentally scooping the chocolate onto the spoon, because God forbid I got some chocolate. Then all my sinfulness, I guess. Anyway, all this ridiculousness that we get caught up in, thinking this will show how much I love God. This will make up for the wrongs I've done. So I don't know if any of you practice giving up at Lent. Maybe this year, forget about that. If you love coffee, please drink coffee. If you love chocolate, please eat chocolate. God doesn't care. Right. Maybe this year, let's ask ourselves, what gets in the way of that lengthening light? As that lengthening light touches me and as new life and growth is invited in me, what stops it? What says no? Maybe this Lent, we can look deep within. Because we already know, and some of it was talked about beautifully this morning, what's happening in the world around us. And all of those things in the world around us are going to touch the world that's within us. And this world needs attention too. This world being healed is how we heal that world. So as we begin this 100 days from today till Pentecost, this Lenten journey, this journey again of life, death, and rebirth, maybe we can attend to those things inside that we've locked away, that we've ignored. And it doesn't have to even be big things. Maybe it's just as simple as saying, I'm going to get rest during this Lenten season. I'm going to sleep well so that I can be my best each day. I'm going to do that thing that I've been putting off, that I've been dreaming of doing. Maybe this Lent can just be about finding delight and joy in our everyday lives so that we can share it with a world that so desperately needs it. So I want to leave you with the words of a song. It's from Joe Riley. It's called Be Still and Know. And the refrain says these words, be still and know that you are love. Not all the lies we tell ourselves about what we are. We are love. Be still and know what you're made of. Be still and know that you are love. Be still and know what you're made of. You are your ancestors' dreams. You are flowing mountain streams. You are ancient forest roots. You are rich soil, strong branches, and eager shoots. Be still and know that you are love. Be still and know what you're made of. You are a diverse community. You are rhythms and melodies. You are laughter and pain. You are soft summer rain. Be still and know that you are love. Be still and know what you're made of. You are compassion and peace. You are wise stories. You are song and poetry. You are boundless joy, and you are free. Be still and know that you are love. Be still and know what you're made of. Our song of reflection is "Eye Has Not Seen," gather 638.